It's common sense. I've never had someone run their bike into my car and kill me, but vice versa happens a lot.
Our top story tonight, a deadly hit and run in East Portland. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Art Edwards. Late Saturday night, a man was hit and killed by a car at Southeast 162nd and Stark Street. Our Sydney Dorner spoke with people in the area who say that intersection is dangerous.
I spoke with a young man named Phoenix who works at a corner store off Southeast 162nd and Stark Street. He says in the surveillance video, it looked like the driver was going 100 miles per hour, coldly speeding off after the man he hit rolled off the hood. A busy intersection. Southeast 162nd and Stark Street is filled with people commuting on foot and by car. But some people in this area aren't a fan of the intersection, like Louis Hansett, who says he's always nervous when walking there.
It just seems like an unsafe intersection right now. There's a lot of accidents. I've literally had several times where people have almost hit my dog even though she's within 2 feet of me.
Late Saturday night, he saw the aftermath of a hit and run at the Southeast intersection, leaving a man dead by the time officers arrived at the scene.
And I heard a big crash really late at night. I came outside and I didn't really see anything at first, but police showed up very quickly.
This is the 4th pedestrian fatality on Portland roads in just this month. Phoenix, who works at a nearby corner store, says he watched the surveillance video firsthand.
The car hit 2 people and speed off, but it hit a lady and she got up and started running to the dude that was dragged to the intersection on the other side.
Saying the deadly incident got worse and worse as he watched.
He was stuck on the hood and they slowed down a little bit to get him off the car or something. Then they just started speeding again. They just took off. They didn't stop or anything.
Both people I spoke with say these pedestrian traffic deaths could have been avoided.
I feel like they're not doing enough to help anybody. Just have something safer for people or have more cameras on the streets a little bit more.
Where you have to be 6 inches away from where cars are driving to hit the button for walk. How stupid is that?
Hoping the city can find a solution soon.
Instead of catering to the people riding on bikes and putting them out into the street in the intersections, I think we should be catering to the people driving thousands of pounds of steel at high speed.
Now there have been 43 deadly crashes this year in Portland. Police say slightly down compared to last year. Back to you.
In Clackamas County, a Silverton man is dead after a 2-vehicle crash on Highway 224. It happened after 12:30 Saturday afternoon at milepost southeast Fall Creek Road near Estacada. Oregon State Police say that an eastbound car was starting to turn into a driveway and hit a westbound motorcycle. The motorcyclist, 71-year-old Richard Deathrage, died at the scene. Police in Northeast Portland are investigating a death. Officers were called to the area of Northeast Fremont and 105th Avenue just before 1 this morning. They found the body of a person there. Information is limited at this point. Portland police ask anyone with any information to contact them. A man is hospitalized with severe injuries after he was hit by a train in Southeast Portland. It happened before 1 o'clock this afternoon in the area of Southeast 16th and Brooklyn Street. Union Pacific says it was one of their trains and it's investigating what happened. None of the onboard crew were hurt. The Portland Business Bureau says that they have transferred detectives out of the property crimes unit and they will no longer have investigators exclusively working these types of cases. Ashley Grahams joins us from the newsroom. Ashley, will anyone be investigating these crimes?
Well, last month, Oregon Public Broadcasting was the first to report on this change. Since then, 3 Portland police detectives have moved out of the property crimes unit and been reassigned to the sex crimes unit and the special victims unit. But Portland police say this doesn't mean they will stop investigating property crimes like retail theft. Instead, these cases will be assigned to a detective at each of the 3 precincts. Today, we talked to some local business owners on Southeast Hawthorne to get their take. Both are none too happy, saying they deal with theft often and think it's a step backward to disband the unit focused exclusively on property crimes.
Sometimes you get more stuff stolen than you actually have people buying, so those days feel really grim.
I hear that you guys are understaffed, but at some point we need support. The city, the small business need your help.
Well, a spokesperson for Portland Police told me Chief Day is shuffling personnel and using the resources they have to make sure all crimes get the attention they deserve. We'll have a closer look at this story coming up at 11. Art?
Thank you, Ashley. Police in Vancouver have arrested a man who allegedly slashed the tires of dozens of cars. It happened Friday night through Saturday morning in neighborhoods on Kaufman Avenue between West 29th and 39th Streets. At least 36 vehicles were affected. The suspect, 43-year-old Colwyn Kent, has been booked on first-degree malicious mischief. We have an update now to an injury during a performance at Portland's Expo Center. Cirque du Soleil says their artist is conscious and stable. It happened last night during the 7 p.m. performance of Kuza. The entertainment company says that it was an aerial hoop artist that got hurt. They say the artist will be monitored by their medical and coaching team to determine when she can return to the show. Crews in the Dalles were called to a brush fire earlier today that was caused by a squirrel. Mid-Columbia Fire and Rescue says the animal touched an overhead power line at the end of East 20th Street. The fire spread to about a 1-acre area until crews were finally able to contain it. All right, we're going to take a look now at the weather. Kind of a quiet, cooler night to end the week. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri joins us now. Joe, what can we expect, or when can we expect some temperatures that are maybe a little bit warmer?
I would say even by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see our temperatures warm up a little bit, right around the low to mid 80s, and they really go from warm to hot by Thursday and into the holiday weekend. So here's a look at what you're looking at along the Oregon coast this evening. Clear skies, a temperature of 60 degrees. We've been seeing some gorgeous sunsets across the area earlier this evening. So it's going to be a more typical August forecast this week. You know, Art and I were just talking about before we went on the air, just kind of how bummed we've been here the last couple of weeks, not really feeling like summer. Well, that changes a good portion of this week. Some rain showers late tomorrow, early Tuesday. In terms of rain, that is it. We're not going to be seeing much more than that heading into the next few days. So it's going to be heating up later this week. Like I said, again, I'm expecting to see daytime highs by Thursday and especially Friday, right around the upper 80s to low 90s. I am forecasting temperatures closer to the mid 90s heading into Friday of this week. Currently, we're looking at kind of a nice end to your last Sunday of August with temperatures in the mid to the upper 60s. At the Portland International Airport, we're looking at a temperature of 71 degrees. And for the futurecast tomorrow, there'll be a few clouds here and there tomorrow morning along the coast, but we're looking at basically sunny skies from beginning to end heading into up and down the I-5 corridor. Onshore flow moves in late tomorrow night, bringing in a slight chance for some light showers, but I think for the strongest system is going to be well north of us, so we could be seeing a little bit of precipitation, but that is about it. I'll talk more about your detailed forecast and also tracking the hurricanes that are moving through the central part of the Pacific Ocean over the next few days too.
All right, thanks, Joe. Look forward to it. In Seattle, tens of thousands of air travelers face long lines at SeaTac Airport. It is after what has now been confirmed as a cyber attack. It's caused outages that impact the airport's internet and web-based systems. Now, officials say TSA was not compromised, but that has not stopped long lines from forming at the security check-in today.
They told us in an email and in a text, try not to check a bag if you can. Well, we can't do that. We have to check our bag. We've got a very large bag.
Seems challenging given the outages. People trying to get home on a Sunday want to get home for Monday, so it's tough.
It is unclear when the cyber attack will be resolved as SeaTac officials and crews work to get to the bottom of the issue. NASA says a SpaceX crew will bring home 2 astronauts who have been stranded aboard the International Space Station. Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams rode to the space station on the Boeing Starliner spacecraft in early June. Their mission was only supposed to last for 8 days, but NASA says they will now return in February, 8 months past the scheduled time. The Starliner craft has had some problems with leaks in its helium system and its thrusters.
I want you to know that Boeing has worked very hard with NASA to get the necessary data to make this decision. We want to further understand the root causes and understand the design improvements so that the Boeing Starliner will serve as an important part of our assured crew access to the ISS.
In a statement, Boeing says, quote, "We continue to focus first and foremost on the safety of the crew and the spacecraft. The Starliner spacecraft will return to Earth without a crew." In consumer news, Portland will soon be at the center of a major legal battle. Tomorrow, an Oregon federal court judge will hear evidence involving the proposed merger between Fred Meyer, owner Kroger, and Safeway owner Albertsons. The FTC is seeking a preliminary injunction to halt the merger before it can complete its internal review of the deal. The challenge has been backed by the state of Oregon, as well as Oregon Senator Ron Wyden and Washington Representative Pramila Jayapal. A coalition of several unions called Stop the Merger will hold a press conference tomorrow morning ahead of the court hearing. And we also have a traffic update for TriMet commuters. The agency today rolled out what it says is one of its largest ever service updates. Among the changes, there will be new bus lines, adjusted routes and schedules, and now buses will run in place of trains during the late evening hours. The names of 3 MAX stations were also changed today. TriMet also soft launched its 10-station extension of the MAX Red Line. It will officially launch on Wednesday.